out at the same time, so we can go ahead and get underway.
Mm-hmm.
And here we go.
So, a little bit of advice. When the game starts, don't press anything or else the game is going to shift to your bottom right corner. So, I'm going to give you a little reminder. The game is bugged. I got lightning bolts all around, so I'm not sure exactly what's happening. Let me go message them really quick.
Yeah, that's a little bit funky.
Are you getting lightning bolts too?
Yeah, it's not showing any connected.
All right.
Oh,
There you
there
go.
we go.
Nautilus first ban. So, I'm curious why they banned Nautilus actually because
Yeah, and
knowing
then a Maokai ban.
Maokai is actually a legitimate ban because Maokai overall is pretty strong. It would be a champion that Hotshot would want to pick up. Really, right now, Hotshot hasn't been jungling a lot. So the champions been seeing him play would be like Shyvana and Lee Sin. So I feel Shyvana, Lee Sin, and Nocturne, those are the three champions that I've seen him concentrate on. So um, Maokai ban would be more of I don't think Maokai is going to be is Maokai is going to be a good counter to the team comp that we have in mind at this moment. So, in terms of just banning out Hotshot, Maokai, I'm not exactly sure why they banned that. I think Shyvana, Nocturne, or Lee Sin, the three champions that I've seen him play just continually over and over in the last week and a half. It would be a better ban if you want to actually hinder
Target the
Hotshot.
jungle.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And then we've got the that Nautilus ban. I do find pretty interesting. I mean, Nautilus is a champion who's got a really disruptive effect on team fights. I mean, he does have a lot of team fight presence, but at the same time, I mean, I haven't seen him too much in the really high level play. I mean, I've seen him a bit, but not as much as I have some other champions like Mundo or Shyvana.
Yeah.
Which surprisingly, all three of those jungles that you mentioned, Nocturne, and then Shyvana, Lee Sin, all of them have made it through the ban stage completely scot free. So we might be seeing one of those picked up for Hotshot.
Yeah, the thing with Nautilus is I haven't seen Saint play Nautilus much at all. And so it would be more of, all right, Nautilus has been performing really well lately. Top teams like Dignitas and top European teams that they've been scrimming against has been utilizing a lot of Nautilus. So it would be more of, all right, Nautilus has really strong ganks. He's a beast late game. It's really hard to kill. So I see these bans as more as champions we don't want to deal with rather than champions targeted at the other team.
Yeah, and I mean, especially with the Shen and Soraka bans, I definitely feel are ones that aren't necessarily targeted at all. Those are just kind of like safe bans that these aren't champions we want to mess with right now. So we do have the pickup for Kog'Maw here. Voidboy has picked up Kog'Maw, but then we have Corki kind of as that counterpoint right there. So I'm kind of curious to see how this is going to put up. We've got a potential Janna pickup here, which I think is a very good support to put with Kog'Maw, just because Kog'Maw lacks escapes. That's his sort of weak point. So
I honestly think it's going to be a poke kite team where they're going to put Kog'Maw mid more than anything, just because CLG has been known to run that poke kite team. You have the Cog to just nuke with living artillery in the back, and the Janna, if they want to engage really hard on Kog'Maw, she can just use her Typhoon and just knock everybody back and reset that fight. Especially really good against Kennen because Kennen requires a flash ultimate engage, and then with Janna, she's going to be able to just push Kennen out. She's going to be able to push Katarina out too if they pick Katarina. So in this case, I don't understand why they're picking Katarina, but
yeah, I'm gonna remain very skeptical of the Katarina pickup until that's locked. Just because she can when she comes into ultimate, yeah, we do see a little bit of a change of heart there. Just because that Janna ultimate really is really disruptive against any champions that either need to stay in place for a long period of time or need to get up into close range. So I'm also a little skeptical of this Hecarim. I've not seen much.
Actually disagree because I've been playing actually a lot of Hecarims in the past week, and for champions that's really hard to get to. He's going to be able to close that distance, and he's going to be able to use his charge and his ultimate to get to whoever he needs to. He's going to be able to run past everybody, fearing everybody in a line and getting to that target. And in terms of getting to Kog'Maw, Hecarim is going to be able to do that. Leona is going to be able to keep people in place as well. So just between the CC of Leona and Hecarim, they're going to be able to lock down Janna and Kog at the same time if they stack near each other. And then they can have Kennen jump on top and if it's a really, really well-timed ultimate between Kennen, Hecarim, and Leona, they're going to be able to stunlock Janna in place and kill her before she uses her Typhoon, and potentially have enough collateral damage to everybody else on the team where they can just clean it up afterwards as well.
Yeah,
So,
absolutely. I mean, the Hecarim choice against Kog'Maw is really good for the ability to close the distance. And if we look at this team, we actually have all of them so far have some form of gap closer.
mhm.
Corki does have the Valkyrie. Kennen can use his Lightning Rush. Hecarim is just insanely fast. He ignores collision. And then we've got, the Zenith Blade on Leona, as well as the Ghost. So it looks like they are going to play for a team that's going to try and get up close and personal very quickly.
I thought they would pick Caitlyn over Graves, just because Caitlyn would more synergize with their Pokai team. So Graves is more of like a bursty type. You kind of, when people clump up, I hit R, hit my smoke bomb, hit my buckshot, and just deal a lot of damage. And Kate's got those traps to space people out. So Graves can work with this comp. I thought Caitlyn would be more of their choice, but Doublelift knows his champion's best. But let's talk a little bit more about Trundle. I saw a little bit of comments in regards to Trundle, and they're wondering why Trundle. Just based off of their composition, if they're doing AP Kog'Maw mid, they need people to protect the Kog. They need people to split up the enemies so they can't get to Kog'Maw. And with that pillar from Trundle, they're going to be able to slow people and hit them with the living artillery and space people back so they can't get to Kog'Maw at the same time. So ideally, the way Trundle is going to counter-initiate is when everybody rushes in at Kog'Maw, he's going to throw that pillar up and split the team in half, and Janna's going to be able to further knock them back if they get too close. So they have to protect the Cog type AoE to CC the enemies so Kog'Maw can continually do damage.
Yeah, and I think that maybe part of the reason for Graves is seeing that the team here is such a close range team. Graves does do a whole lot of damage at close range, so Graves is going to be really well positioned to punish them when they try and dive in after Kog'Maw, because that close range burst from Graves is extremely lethal for an AD, and all these champions are going to be trying to get up close. Are going to have to go right through Graves, and I think he's going to really punish them if they try, as will Irelia. She does have the ability to stick to a target really well, and deal just an absolutely horrendous amount of damage to anybody with that true damage.
Alright, so before this game starts, there's going to be a 3-minute delay. I'm going to play a quick ad break, and then I'm going to do a contest announcement. So I'll be right back really, really quick after this commercial break. Oh, they're saying the commercial break actually didn't work. Okay, if you didn't get a commercial, that's fine. Don't need a commercial break all the time, but what I want to do is just announce our sponsors really quick. This tournament is sponsored by Razer, Gunner, Kingston HyperX, Playhem, and Twitch TV. If you go to our solomid.net/contest, you'll see our contest giveaway page. We're giving away a Kingston HyperX SSD. It's a 90 gig SSD. We're giving away 2 sets of Kingston HyperX RAM kits with a fan. So the fan and the RAM kits comes together, as well as 4 Hex Razer Naga Hex mouse. So is this MMO mouse is really, really good for MMOs because it has 6 macro buttons. I'm just not sure. I think it's macro. You have 6 macro buttons on the side that you can use to macro your spells and just use it with your thumbs. And so if you're looking for something not super, super high end, but good enough to fulfill your MMO needs, we're giving away 4 of these. If you go to our contest page and follow our sponsors on Twitter and like them on Facebook. Especially important is you go onto their Facebook and you type thanks for supporting Solomid.net and League of Legends. That's what we're going to be looking for the most The last thing we're going to be giving away is just 3 times Gunner Eyewear. So the game is starting in 35 seconds. So as soon as the game starts, we're going to be ready to go. I'm going to take a quick 1-minute break and then I'll be right back. I just went to get some Red Bull, you know? I think Red Bull is an energy drink for champion casters. Just kidding. It's because this is going to be a long day. I think I'm going to be casting for like 10 hours, so having this energy drink's going to definitely help out a lot.
I would say 10 hours is a pretty long marathon to be casting for.
Oh, no, actually, today's a little bit shorter because we're starting a little bit late, so. Alright, so the game is starting. Let me just talk a little bit more about the team comp. So, you know, Curse has the Hecarim, Corki, Leona, Vlad, Kennen. If you look at every single one of their champion, every single champion has an AoE damage component. So, Curse definitely has the archetypal AoE comp with just really strong engage and lots of AoE damage. So, one good team fight can just absolutely decimate CLG. So, CLG on the other hand has this standard, or not too standard, but they have a kite team. So, you know, you have this team where I want to engage really hard and just unload everything very quickly, and you have this other team where, all right, I just want to whittle them down, poke them from afar, and deal a lot of damage to them, and then engage when they're about half hit points. So, really, this game is going to be decided on whether which team gets the early advantage first. If CLG gets the early advantage first, they're going to be able to press their team comp's advantage, early and mid-game power into just press all the way into their base from just basically if they group up at about 20-25 minutes with an advantage, they're going to be able to poke down Curse all the way through from tower just into their base. And if it gets to that point where it's about even and Curse gets a really good engagement onto CLG, they're going to be able to just annihilate them. So it's not really one team comp has an advantage over the other. It's a skill matchup on whether one team can pull off what they're intended to do better.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing that, you know, both teams have a very different strategy, but I think both are very viable right now. See, we are seeing a fairly tame start. There's no crazy invasions going on or anything too drastic in that regard. So, you know, just to begin with, it's pretty safe. You know, just taking golems from the bottom lane and just getting back into their lanes.
Yeah, definitely. Especially from CLG, they don't really want to fight early game. They just want to have that amount of farm in where they can start pressing their poke and pushing power. So if you look over here, they have a ward on the map just in case the enemy wants to counter jungle or invade. So it just goes to show that CLG at this point, they're not looking for a lot of heavy fighting. They're looking for getting their farm in, getting to the point where they can just start grouping up and securing global objectives and or pushing down towers.
I say, and that's definitely where they're going to be able to pick up a lot of those advantages using that range, just because they'll be able to, you know, harass people out from under turrets and sort of break up defenses like that. So I think their team is really well positioned to do something like that.
So there is Hotshot looking for a gank bottom. There is a pink ward warded in the tribe bush, just so that allows CLG an opportunity to look for a gank and go through bottom lane. However, Chris does have a ward on the brush across. Usually you ward tribe brush. If there's no ward, you walk over to where that brush is, or Curse is. So Curse is anticipating any type of gank. So if Hotshot does gank bottom, it's most likely going to be foiled.
And we do see that Graves is pushing the lane just a little bit right now. So I'm not seeing Hotshot being able to gank down here in the next couple minutes.
The thing is I don't see Hecarim being able to gank either. Both teams on bottom lane is really safe. They're gonna just in their own zone where they can play independent of jungler. If they're gonna get a kill, it would be independent of the jungler. So you do see a fight here in mid.
I mean, both junglers have come in, but both of them have already had to pull back a little bit. Hotshot is going to stick around, maybe try to jump onto this Kennen, but I don't think he is. I think he's going to just kind of go ahead and kind of help push this lane out in case I think Big Fat IP wants to go back.
So there's a lot of aggression in this top lane from Vlad onto Irelia. Vlad does beat Irelia early game. However, as it gets later into the game, Irelia is going to be able to turn back and start beating Vlad.
So we do have him coming right into the bush with Hotshot inside. Irelia is closing up. We've got the Pillar of Filth. Vlad is getting slowed, having to pull back to his turret, and he is going to get away from this. Kog'Maw had come up to assist with that gank, but unfortunately he was just a little bit too slow to actually get that off. However, Vlad is going to be forced back to base.
I think that gank was a little bit preemptive. Had Hotshot waited for Kog'Maw to catch up before rushing in, just having that extra damage from Kog'Maw would have been able to potentially take down Vlad. And also waiting for Irelia to be able to get close enough to Vlad and getting that equilibrium strike to stun him would definitely help as well. So, you know, just a little bit too early on that gank. He saw that Vlad was overextended and he just kind of went for it. What he should have done was he should have just waited for Kog and Irelia to get into position. That way they can chain their crowd control so Vlad can't gain any distance and potentially kill him.
Yeah, I think the one problem that he ended up picking up was that Vlad was coming to check the bush, and he just kind of decided to go for it instead of kind of trying to like pull back a little bit and bait him a little further out. So, I mean, really close call there. Did actually force Vladimir back though, so that did give Irelia a little bit of breathing room that she needed early on.
It gave her a little bit of breathing room, but you got to keep in mind, Kog'Maw went upriver and wasted the time, so he's going to fall behind in mid farm as well. You know, you're looking at the CS is 30 to 43 in mid. Kog'Maw is significantly behind, and then also Trundle burns his exhaust as well.
Down bottom for the gank. There is a knockup from Janna and the Pillar of Filth. That actually had to Valkyrie out of that for Cop. He actually was in a lot of trouble. He had to use the Valkyrie, otherwise he would definitely have died right there.
He's actually in pretty good shape. He still has his flash up, so in terms of ganking on him, that does send him back and does stop him from farming a little bit, but in terms of re-ganking, Trundle doesn't have the opportunity. So you do see Irelia up top lane versus Vlad. Earlier on you did see Irelia losing pretty heavily, but as this game gets a little bit further down, when she gets her wits end and gets to level 6, she's going to be able to sustain against Vlad, and Vlad is going to start having trouble then. So this is more of the lane where I'm weaker than you early game, but you give me about 10-15 minutes, I'm going to turn around and I'm going to just start trying to kill you over and over. So that's the matchup top lane Irelia versus Vladimir.
Yeah, which I think is pretty fascinating, because typically that's Vlad's matchup against other champions, like Riven or some of those other really strong aggressive champions, that Vlad has to start weak and then he becomes strong. However, against Irelia, I do agree that, you know, it's going to be a case of Irelia having to just kind of bide her time and then come out later.
It's a classic range champion versus melee champion. Range champion innately most of the time has a huge advantage against melee champion, and so that's the case right now. Irelia did just hit 6. She's going to be able to use her ultimate to heal up very, very high. So as soon as Boy chooses to, he's going to wait for the next wave, use his ultimate, heal back up, and try and hit Vlad as much as possible. So especially because the next wave is going to be in a straight line, he's going to be able to heal a lot that way.
Absolutely. We do see that the blue is going to go ahead and get caught up for Kog'Maw. So they are on top of their timers here. There is no invasions to try and steal these just yet. So, and a Kog'Maw with blue, I personally find to be a pretty formidable opponent, because he's got the ability to just spam that ultimate so aggressively that the poke can get extremely frustrating.
So you do see Hecarim bottom lane. He's looking for a gank. He has his ultimate at level 6. He's got a charge knockback and an ultimate. So in terms of damage potential, CC, he's got quite a bit. So let's see if he's able to.
He's coming out on top of Graves right here. Got the fear going down, forcing the flash, and then he's going to back away from this, back into those bushes. And it looks like he will be going back. However, we did get the first blood up top with Irelia jumping on top of Vladimir. Do you want to go back and catch that?
Yeah, let's go back and catch that.
Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and back twice.
So you see Irelia up top. He jumped on Vlad while Vlad was under tower, and that was just a really well-timed equilibrium strike under the tower. I'm gonna forward back to real time. So, if you can jump forward back to real time as well, that'd be great.
Absolutely.
So basically what happened is Irelia saw Vlad under the tower, he dashed on Vladimir and slowed him and started the ignite right away, so he's not able to heal back up, and he took 1 or 2 tower hits, and that gave him enough of an advantage where he can just chase down Vladimir and pick up that kill. So it's just very well timed and well played by Boy.
I say absolutely. Just because, you know, the Equilibrium Strike is one of those sort of deceptive abilities. We do have Leona catching Graves out here down bottom. She's going to go ahead and unload with her shield and her stun. However, Corki was out of position, so she's actually going to get caught alone and brought down by Graves and Trundle there. Say, Corki was actually trying to focus down Janna while that was happening, and was just way too far back to unleash the damage onto Graves. So that Sunlight passive mostly got wasted there.
I actually got a bug on the replay where it just froze on me, so I gotta sync up the time with you. What time are you at right now?
I'm currently at 9:45.
I tried to fast forward it, and the spectator is bugging out for me right now, so I gotta jump back into the game.
Alright, so you're currently not in the game at the moment?
No, I'm actually not in the game.
Alright, well then I guess I'll just give you any important events that happen, in case any important events happen. We did have that bottom lane after that fight. They did go back. Doublelift and Choster did go back. And we see that Graves did pick up his Berserker's Greaves as well as 2 Dorans and a Vamp Scepter. So he's going to have a lot more sustain in this lane now to allow him to just keep in there and make more aggressive trades. So I think that's a really good choice for Graves to be picking up right now because, you know, it's not a sustain lane that he's up against. So picking up that extra sustain will give him the ability to just out-trade Corki. So I think that was just a really good choice for him going back there. We do have, however, Curse is gathering for this dragon. They're actually going to be going for the dragon right now. There's no ward coverage on it. I don't think CLG has any idea that they're doing this. Dragon's going to drop really quickly. There's really no movement right now to do anything about it. And that will be the first dragon going down at about 11 minutes for Curse. So at this point, everyone is going to go ahead and move back in the lane. And unfortunately, we do have Hotshot waiting up top for a gank. Unfortunately, Vladimir was at the dragon, so Hotshot's just kind of waiting in vain right now because there's just no Vladimir to gank. So we do have Kennen stealing Kog'Maw's large Wraith from the Wraith camp after forcing Kog'Maw out of the lane. So looks like that's going well for him. Trundle is going to go ahead and hold the lane for Irelia so she can back. Say Vladimir has gotten back in the lane. Hecarim is looking like he might be trying to gank here. Nope, just going to continue with his jungle. So that's currently the state of the game. Not too much going on. Kennen doing a little bit of damage to the middle turret right now. And Irelia has picked up that Wit's End. So are you back in the game yet?
I actually am not. I'm still trying to find the password and the creator, so I am unable to rejoin right now, so it's a little bit unfortunate. They didn't make it so I can join from spectating from friends, so it's definitely something I told them to do before the game, so I'm unable to rejoin.
To come back in the quick way?
Yeah.
That's unfortunate. So we don't have any action going on at the moment. All of the lanes are playing it fairly safe. Kog'Maw's pushing the turret so that he can deny a little bit of that CS.
So
from Kennen.
What you need to do is, can you just take over the stream and just cast it for the time being?
Absolutely. Let me go ahead and get that going. It'll take me just a few seconds.
Yeah, I don't think I can join back in. I think they created it private. Even people on the friends list can't join. So that's definitely something we need to work out after the game, because I mentioned it about 5 times.
So maybe you'll have to create and host the game. Just to make sure you get all the settings the way you want them to be. Alright, yeah, I'm just waiting for mine to get up and running. By the time we get back, someone's gonna have taken Baron, and it'll all be like over. It'll be horrible. All right, I'm almost back into this game right now. Here we go. There has been one more kill that has happened. Actually, no. We are actually no kills ahead. We have the one extra kill from Graves that happened when you had crashed out. But apart from that, everything's still very stable. So it's good.
Alright, so we are back in the game. I'm sorry about the inconvenience of the disconnect. I don't think I'm gonna test out the instant replay function anymore, just because that crash scared me. I think I'm pretty scarred right now. But definitely not how I want to be running a tournament, having a game crash mid tournament. So we are back in the game. The score is 2-0, 2 to CLG, 0 to Curse. However, Curse did pick up Dragon, so their gold advantage is actually ahead, because Dragon, in terms of gold and EXP, is more than 2 kills, as a matter of fact. So definitely Curse is still in this. They have the gold equilibrium with CLG, so there's no real advantage. However, if this goes on just a little bit more, you're gonna see CLG start pulling ahead of Curse, just because in about, say, 5 or 10 minutes, you're gonna see CLG being able to just constantly group up and just poke onto Curse. So that's something to look out for in the next minute, or I mean next 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we've seen, you know, especially right now, with this bottom lane with Elements and Cop, I mean, they've got this Leona Corki combination, which is really a lot of damage and a lot of threat.
So there is a gank in off top. You see Trundle camping the brush, and Hecarim came in for the Ghost and the Fear and the Charge. However, Pole Belter is really, really low. If Boy is able to just dash onto Vladimir and just hit him down, he's going to be able to kill him. However, that would mean a kill for Curse as well.
However, we do see that Trundle does get picked up right there. And then Kog'Maw coming from the side with that ultimate, gonna force Belter to dodge to the side and letting Irelia come in and pick up that kill. And then Kog is running back under the turret, trying to escape from Hecarim. Hecarim sticking close, forced to flash out of that. Kennen contemplating a dive there, gonna go ahead and back away for the moment.
Kennen is definitely looking for that dive there. If Kog stuck around just a little bit more, Kennen does have the Lightning Rush Flash ultimate combo, so it was very, very good for Kog to just give up that tower and back out, because Kog had used the flash just moments before then, so it was good intuition to just back up and knowing to give up that tower. So that fight actually just came out a little bit even. Curse came out a little bit ahead because they were able to get tower and just deny CLG just a little bit of creep. So definitely a slight advantage for Curse, not so heavy that it's super detrimental for Voyboy, because Voyboy was able to pick up a kill on Vladimir. Losing that tower is going to give him more space to chase down Vladimir too. Vladimir chooses to go back to farm top lane.
I say they are going to go ahead and go straight onto this dragon. I say it has just respawned, however, there is a ping coming down from CLG, so they kind of suspect this is happening, but I don't think that they're in position to contest it, and they're not even going to try. And then I've noticed, I just want to check, what time in the game are you at right now?
I'm at 18:15.
Alright, just making sure we were caught together right there on timing. Just because that last fight, it felt like I was a little bit ahead of you for some reason.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
We do have, however, Graves and Janna picking up the turret in the bottom lane to equalize those turrets again, and the gold has just equalized back. Even they're within 100 gold of each other right now, so both teams are sticking extremely tightly close.
In terms of kills and objective, CLG definitely has the advantage in kills, but Curse was able to pick up those 2 dragons, so they're able to keep even, although they're behind in kills. But one thing you got to keep in mind is, since CLG did get kills and Curse was able to pick up objectives, there is a bounty on CLG's head in general. So if a team fight breaks out, everybody dies, Curse is going to be able to come out of that fight at least 500 to 700 gold ahead, even though they break even in kills. So I'd still give the slight advantage in terms of gold count to Curse, above the 400 gold that they are already ahead.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we don't have anyone quite on a spree yet, but there's both Graves and Irelia are pretty close to picking up a killing spree, and that's when they're going to need to be really, really careful. So
at this point in the game, you do see CLG start rotating and grouping up. You see Graves and Janna rotating on top. It's they're at the point where towers are a big priority for them right now. So what CLG wants to do is they just want to start picking up a lot of towers.
We do have a fight coming down in the middle. Irelia is jumping onto Kennen, dropping him extremely low and picking up that kill on Kennen. Kennen popped the ultimate, tried to get away, just couldn't escape. You know, that Irelia reduction on his stun made it so that he just couldn't get out of range in time. He was able to dash in and pick up the kill. And then they are going to go ahead and drop this mid turret. I don't think anyone's in range to try and stop this.
Red team's turret has been destroyed.
So at this point, you're just going to see a CLG just constantly push on Curse. There's really no answer to Curse. Kennen's ultimate is down for another minute and 10 seconds. So what CLG wants to do is they just want to press this advantage and just wait for the creep line and start pushing. So I'm wondering if they're going to just back up or keep on pushing because they are in the position to push.
I'm not entirely positive. Kog'Maw is stealing out that Wraith camp using his ultimate, so definitely just doing everything they can to deny every bit of gold from Curse right now. So because they have actually started to pull ahead a little bit in the gold lead. If
you do look at the gold count, Irelia's got about 1,700, Cog's got 2,300, Trundle's got about 1,000. So in terms of pushing, is actually probably a better call and good intuition by COG to just go back and buy, because their next push around when they actually do buy, they're going to be significantly stronger. So as soon as Kog'Maw does hit level 16, though, you're going to see a lot more of those aggressive pushing and taking towers over and over.
Come out. Yeah, we do see that Irelia has picked up her Merc treads as well as the Phage right now, so she's going to be able to go into fights and stick to people, and it's going to be really hard to disrupt her in terms of keeping her crowd control, just because if she's got that 21 defensive, she's going to have about 60 to 70% crowd control reduction. So Kennen's stuns won't even phase her.
So right now Cog did pick up Irelia. It's a very good early item for him, because one thing Kog'Maw lacks is just survivability and escape. So with his slow and the Irelia slow, that's just going to make up for his health in terms of survivability, and the slow from Irelia in terms of him being able to kite people and landing his living artillery, and just that's just the slow is going to give him a lot more survivability.
Absolutely. We do have Janna getting caught by Hecarim. However, Irelia is there, Graves is there, so Hecarim's going to need to back away from that right now. It looks like we do have the group up here from Curse in the mid. Looks like they might be trying to push this turret down. Kog'Maw is alone at the moment, however the rest of CLG is coming down, so it looks like we might be seeing a big fight here in the mid really soon.
So the situation here is, since Kog'Maw can single-handedly hold this tower, they're going to be able to clear this creep and just have Trundle push it. And I think if they're able to defend this tower, Trundle is going to get the second tower, which is much more valuable than the outer tower from CLG. So what CLG wants to do is they just want to hold this off, not let the creep get to tower, because if it gets to tower and there's a big creep wave, Curse is going to be able to engage on them under tower like they are right now.
So then we do have the ultimate from Vladimir going off, ultimate from Leona, ultimate from Kennen. Janna is going to go down before she can clear that fight out. Irelia going to get picked up as well. Graves retreating. However, the outside tower is going to go down. Leona is tanking that, and 2 kills picked up by Curse right there.
That was a very good play by Curse, because they saw that Trundle was bottom and Cog had just blue pilled, so they are as 5. Diving 5v3 with an AoE team is actually very easy at this point in the game. So it was just very good timing by Curse, knowing that GG went back their #1 wave clear from CLG, so there's no real poke to hold them off, and they're able to get those 2 kills and that tower as well. So Curse is getting back into the lead in terms of gold and catching up in kills as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I would like to point out that Trundle was coming to try and help. He was caught out on the side, and he placed a really well-placed Pillar of Filth right there and blocked the entire team from getting to him. So, Hotshot did do a really good job in placing these pillars so far in this game.
So you did see Trundle getting the blue buff. I don't think he intended it, because he didn't smite for it. So unfortunately for Cog, he's not going to have that blue buff. But he does have his own up still, so if he gets his blue buff, he's going to be able to group up and push too, because he is at level 16 right now. And this is a point where CLG's poke comp is just very strong. You let it get to another, say, 10-15 minutes, it's not going to be as strong. So what you're going to see from CLG is they're going to look for a lot of pushing. They want to force Curse to group up and have enough ward coverage to see if they want to flank from the side, because you don't want Hecarim being able to flank them in and fear them, having it follow up by Leona stun. So
yeah, we do see that Curse has picked up another dragon, so they've been on top of the dragon all game. I don't think CLG has even touched a dragon yet.
the thing with CLG is they're not good at skirmishes away from open space, because they want to see where the enemy is. If they go towards dragon, the enemy is going to be able to flank them from so many directions. So for CLG right now, they're probably thinking it's not beneficial to contest this dragon, because we're going to give them not only dragon but more kills as well.
Yeah. So we can see that we've got, you know, a lot of posturing going on right now around the Baron as well. There is a little bit of action happening here, just because they're both teams are clearing out these wards and sort of jockeying for position right now. But we have an Oracle on both teams. Janna has one as well as Leona, so both supports do have an Oracle. So, you know, both of those are up, and, you know, I think both teams are getting ready to try and fight over this.
Like, the great thing about Kog'Maw is if there's a Baron standoff, his living artillery's range is just so immense that he can poke into brushes and find out where their position is. So it's relatively safe to prevent Baron as Kog'Maw.
Yeah, and also he's managing to do enough damage to actually kind of discourage this. And we have Kennen coming in with the ultimate and then popping the Zanyas. Leona and ultimate from Hecarim coming out, doing a lot of crowd control. However, Leona is going to get picked off by the range, and we see that CLG is just using their range to their advantage here. Pillar of Filth, Kennen getting to flash over that, getting out alive. Trundle not quite able to close the distance and finish him off there. So again, that long range poke, CLG was able to scatter out and then just pick apart whoever got out of position.
So at this point, CLG is just in a very, very good position. They're going to be able to take down this outside tower and potentially inhib tower, because they do know that Curse has nothing left in their arsenal. They did blow all their ultimate. They have no Leona, no Vlad, no Kennen, no Hecarim ult. So they're going to be able to just push uncontested at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. And right now, the really difficult thing for Team Curse about that fight was that they kind of arrived to it not all at once. Like, Kennen kind of went in first, and they didn't have that kind of timing that they were looking for. There were sort of some gaps that let CLG scatter, which was exactly the last thing that they wanted to have happen.
This is very dangerous for Curse. They're under the assumption that CLG did go back.
They just got the ward off right there. We've got the engagement going on. Vladimir getting focused down. However, Irelia is going to die as Vlad uses his Zanyas to endure that barrage. 3 people going, nice snipe there from Kog'Maw onto Leona. We have Hecarim trying to pull away, Trundle doing a lot of damage, Snipe coming down, nearly finishing Vlad off. Kog'Maw does manage to pick off Vladimir there, and then Graves will pick up the kill on Hecarim as he tries to turn back and do a little bit more damage and pick up that Janna. However, Graves was there to do the burst and just drop him down.
So they do have 3 people down from Curse. So right now, CLG do know that they can take that inhib pretty uncontested, so they're going to want to take this inhib and just regroup up and start pushing into another lane and or forcing Baron if they're in position to do so. So this is going to be a quick inhib and just back. They don't really want to look for a fight at this point.
However, they still managed to force Corki back with those incredibly well-placed shots from Kog'Maw. That living artillery is hitting extremely hard right now, and you know, you can just see it when it hits Corki. You know, that's about 1/5 of his health bar.
Kog'Maw's probably got a ton of gold. He's got 3,000 gold. He's going to be able to finish the Archangel if he chooses to. And as soon as he gets that, his AP is going to go through the roof, and he's going to deal a lot of damage on Curse. So just the next team fight, I just can't see Curse doing well. You know, Irelia naturally is a very good counter to Corki, very good counter to Vladimir and Kennen. So in a team fight, she's able to lock down any of those champions, and then Kog'Maw can also poke from the back relatively safe as well.
We do have Curse trying to start this Baron. CLG is here, but not the entire team. They're kind of still a little bit scattered. Irelia trying to interrupt here, getting chased away. Baron is starting to dip pretty low, and Kog'Maw's finally in range, starting to harass with his artillery, doing massive amounts of damage. Baron does get picked up by Curse. Kennen does use that ultimate. However, Hecarim does get sniped off by Big Fat LP. He's landing these living artillery so accurately right now, doing so much damage. Vlad burns the Zanyas, is stuck in the middle of this team, gonna get melted down by Irelia. Then we can see that Living Artillery is just bringing down Corki. He's so low right now. Does get picked up by Kog'Maw there, and Graves is able to finish off Leona there on the side. So they picked up that Baron at the cost of 4 members of their team, and I just don't think that was a good trade for them.
No, they do have a 30-something timer on Curse, so right now, I think CLG wants to take the base tower, but at this point, I think it's just better to just take outside tower and just call it an even trade, because 4 kills, 4 Baron, it is still in CLG's favor. So if Curse is able to get back out and not lose Jackie, they're gonna be able to. They're gonna be able to chase CLG out and potentially kill them as well.
Yeah, I mean, we do have Janna using that ultimate to buy a little bit of time and take down the second turret. So that's 2 base turrets down. And now they are going to make the retreat. The Irelia has been activated. And Janna's doing everything she can to just keep them off of Kog'Maw as he's making his retreat. Hecarim, however, is getting pulled out a little bit outside of his team, taking a lot of damage. That Pillar of Filth is actually disrupting his chase, putting him in a bit of danger. So the rest of Curse kind of, had to catch up and save him. Otherwise, I think Kog'Maw might have been able to just melt him down right there.
That was actually a very, very good move by CLG. I was very skeptical at first, because if they weren't able to take that tower, and had they taken about 5 seconds longer, Curse would have all respawned and they would have been able to chase CLG out, picked up a kill or 2, and do a counter push for a tower or 2 as well. So with their disengage, they're able to take the towers and back out at the same time. So just very, very good play by CLG.
Yeah, we do see that the ping for the Dragon has gone down from Curse, so they're absolutely going to go for this. So they, are going to check their blue, are going to see that it has been stolen, so they will be able to reset that immediately. So there won't be much of a delay at all on that specific timer.
No, getting this Dragon is going to bring them back about 1,000 gold, but at the same time, just innately at this point in the game, this team comp of CLG is just a mid-game terror. CLG is just going to be able to just group up and just constantly push against Curse, because there's just so much pressure mid that they're going to have somebody defending mid all the time, and they're going to have sight on at least one person. So anytime there's a 4v5 fight in terms of CLG's favor, they're going to be able to decimate Curse. So just simply at this point in the game, all you're going to see is CLG is going to group up, take outside tower, and press in very, very slowly. They don't need to rush this, because they're going to be able to take the towers one at a time and poke Curse down very, very slowly, and then just have an engage when they're at about half hit point.
Yeah, we can see that they have gone ahead and picked up the second tower in the top lane, so they're just able to just keep whittling these down right now. And they are going ahead and stealing out the jungle. Irelia did take that red, so they're just taking their time and just stealing every little bit of gold that they can. We do have Irelia chasing Hecarim into the base right here. Might get caught out if she's not careful. She is jumping onto Leona. She's engaging 1 versus 2 right now while they're going for this turret. Irelia is definitely trying to, keep Curse split up and unable to defend, and she's just absolutely doing that. Actually managing to chase down and kill Hecarim in the base while Curse is trying to defend. They're really taking advantage of this right now. The fact that they've got this lead, and they're abusing it to the maximum.
Definitely right now.
We've got Kennen blowing his ultimate, trying to pick up the kill on Irelia. Instead, they're just going to have the entire team chase in on top of them. Leona's going to get picked up. Kennen trying to heal. Corki getting brought down by Graves with his full combo. We've got a healed up Vladimir and Kennen trying to re-engage on top of this. However, Kog'Maw's doing unbelievable amounts of damage. They're going to have to be extraordinarily careful if they want to try and stay alive. Graves is going to pick up this top inhibitor, and then I think CLG is going to need to back out of this. Well, actually, no, they're going to go for the Nexus. The Nexus is half health, and they can't stop them from taking this.
It was just so much in terms of CLG's favor that there's not much Curse can do. So what I'm going to do is play a quick commercial break very fast, and then I'm going to go back and just discuss the last game and jump into the next game.
All right, sounds good.